record button, and then I say, yo, what up? How's it going, man?
What's up? Pretty good.
Good to hear. Good to hear. We are doing, is this your first deck doc, or did we do one last month?
This is my first.
Oh, that's exciting. Okay, so basically what's going to happen is we are going to go through and we're going to chit-chat about your awesome Midoriya 2 deck, and we're going to sit down and polish it up. Remember, at the end of the day, this is your deck, not mine, and so any of the changes that I suggest or I make is very up to change. I want to help you make your awesome deck. It's not my Midoriya deck, it's yours.
Okay.
So with that said, you're going to go ahead and give me the elevator pitch while I go off to another tab, and I'm going to put some stuff into your sideboard. So your sideboard's going to look absolutely disgusting when I'm done with it. But
Okay.
but it's good for the process.
Alright, so pretty much with Midoriya 2, I opened 2 joint effort offensives,
Mm-hmm.
and that seems like a good card, so I tossed it in there. I am absolutely hateful of 2 checks in this game. I think 2 checks make me the saddest, and 1 checks are unthinkable. But for the most part, I just kind of repurposed an All Might 3 deck from the last format and kind of threw in some things I think will be good, and then foundation-wise, mostly just found the good ones, or at least I thought are good ones, and mostly as many of the ones that I want multiple copies of on the board.
Right.
So
So,
it's kind of like where I'm at.
attack-wise, what are your favorite attacks? What are your least favorite attacks?
Okay, so Back Alley Haymaker is fun. I like that one.
Uh-huh.
Reverse Throw I think is pretty good. I'm not married to Joint Effort Offensive. I just opened it and thought it was supposed to go in this deck.
Mm-hmm.
I think Tetsu's Fist is like made for this deck. I think Confident Counter-Strike has been the biggest letdown, and Texas Smash works well. Setup Strike, I like it because it makes Texas Smash fun. And then I'm kind of like iffy on Hardened Chop and Heroic Strike, but I don't have any low attacks, and Hardened Chop is the only low.
Right.
And then I have the 1 full cowling, so I figured that one's pretty good against some characters. Just commit that Nomu or Mineta 2 and party.
Yes, and party. And party hard we will. I'm going through and I'm finishing up my last minute looks here on what we could be adding. So you said you don't like 2 checks, right?
2 checks scare me,
Okay.
but I play them more. I play them anyway because 2 checks are good cards. Like, mostly. But
Okay.
they do scare me.
Okay. Well, I have put some cards into our sideboard. I like how spread out your attack lineup is. Honestly, I think your attack lineup here is really cool and interesting. But I agree with you. I think there's some small room for improvements. Things like Confident Counter-Strike, I just don't think need to be in this deck. I just don't think it's quite worth it. It's neat, not amazing.
Yeah, that's what I felt like. I thought, okay, this one's it's neat if I can attack with it, but I like to block with it, but it's not that great of a block, and it's not a punch, so...
Right, 100%. 100%. It feels really cool after they block a Texas Smash, because it gets +4 from Texas, and it gets +3 from itself. It's like a 11 damage move, but like so is everything else inside of Midoriya, because we discard and give it another 3 damage. This guy, we're in agreement. We're just going to take this card out. This card is just gone, I think.
That sounds perfect.
All right. So onto the sideboard. Here's the attacks that I wanted to talk about. It's exclusively double front beatdown. This card's really good in Midoriya, specifically Midoriya 2. It just lets you build really hard. It's a 5 high for 10. They force the block to happen on this card, and just building the top 2 off your deck like lets you have more resources to then grab the bonus 1 off of Midoriya. Midoriya 2 gets to play this card, and Bakugo 1 gets to play this card really well. Bakugo 2 can play this card okay. Midoriya 1 doesn't get to play this card at all. But it has this sweet Midoriya enhance. If you're willing to cut the joint effort offensive, and you want to play like a high impact, low check card, this is the card to play, not joint effort. My opinion is I think joint effort is not very good for the Midoriya kids. I think neither Midoriya really wants to play this card at like a competitive level. This card's very fun in Midoriya too.
Yeah. When I like in my playtesting with joint effort, like I like it, but then any speed hate, even if it's just a little bit, makes this like massive 15 damage attack feel really sad.
Yeah, and then discard momentum to build in a second foundation. Who cares? I'll build 2, right? I'll just build 2 off the top. It's fine. Why would I wait for my character when I could just do it off the double front? This card, double front is just all in all just a better more impactful card. But I mean, obviously it's a 1 check, not a 2 check, right? So like there it is.
Yeah.
As well as this card accidentally has the hidden ability of just like, yo, did you Texas Smash? Like I'm playing in the mirror match and they Texas Smash into a move into Midoriya. You just like lay this down in your card pool and be like, no, it's a 3 damage move. I'm sorry. Yeah, and you don't get the +4 and the +4 from the previous and the +3 from Midoriya. It's not a 15 damage move. It's 3. I don't even have to check for the card. I don't have to do anything. I just add it to my card pool. It's 3 now.
Okay.
This card is surprisingly good to the point where I've heard some like really high level players like are trying to fit this in their sideboard for characters that aren't Midoriya because it has the infinity symbol, just because of how good that hand enhances. So there's something to think about, but I don't think that we necessarily need to do this because I think a lot of the foundations change if double front happens. But if you're not in love with this card, I would suggest looking at double front next.
Yeah, I'm not like huge in joint effort. I mean, like having 1 or 2, maybe 3 like low check cards, because this is like a big beefy deck. Because I don't know, I'm a big fan of beefy decks.
Yeah.
I've never really liked small like 50 card decks unless it's like a game that says, hey, you have to play 50, right? If you can play as many as you want, I think having options is always nice.
For sure.
Unless it's like specific characters.
I get it. You're not a baby. I understand. I'm the same way. Yeah,
I mean, I'd be down to put in double front over joint effort if it's like better.
It's certainly the cooler option, and you'll definitely get more. Like when this card works, you're gonna get so much more value out of it than you did out of double front. Double front like just hits hard, which like in Midoriya, you make every card hit hard. So like, why do we care? This card lets you build more, so now you get to swing. You just get to swing more attacks.
Yeah. Okay. I like that.
If you wanted, since we cut the 2 other attacks, if you wanted to toss in 2 more double fronts, I wouldn't be opposed to it. But I think out of 2 of it's actually kind of rad. I want more Texas Smash. And I want more. There's another card. It wasn't Tetsu Fist. It was another card. Oh, we're not playing Hardened Chop at all. Or Hardened Jab, excuse me.
Yeah, I didn't put that one in there.
Why not?
I left that for All Might because I didn't really notice I had a lot of face downs early on, because I think a lot of my foundations don't actually flip.
Okay.
I think I only have like maybe 10 that flip.
Right. So let's talk about how
hard to get that face down.
Let's talk about how Hardened Jab works, right? Let's talk about how Universes works. The cost on this card is enhance : You got to say the word enhance. And then in the game Universes, you have to just do as much as you can to complete the ability. So you add 1 face down foundation from your stage to your hand, period. Even if you don't have one, you have to try and do that. So, okay, I'll lift my card. I don't have one. Okay, well, it's fine. Build 1 card for the top of your deck face down, period. Okay, I'll do that. I'll take the top card of my deck and I'll build it face down. If you don't have a face down, this card just says enhance build a foundation.
Oh, okay. That's really good.
And that's every card in the game, right? Like, Heroic Strike, right? Enhance : Let's pretend that this is the first attack in your card pool, and your opponent uses Confuse to take the punch keyword off of this card. You're still allowed to play the ability of enhance your rival commits 1 foundation for each punch in your card pool, and the game will just do as much as it can. And so they'll commit 0 because there's no punches in your card pool because they strip the punch keyword off of this one. This game is all
Right.
about do what you can, which is really, really cool.
Okay, yeah, I mean, I did not know that, so that
Yeah.
changes up my look on hardened jab. I thought it required you to do the thing to do the thing, but if not, I mean, that's like amazing.
I think this is easily a 3 of, and the only time that I would make it a 4 of is if we put back Ellie Haymaker to a 3 of, strictly because this is a 5 diff and this is a 4 diff. So this is better to play on Prime than this is.
Fair enough. I like back alley, just the stun too. Felt
Mhm.
super nice, especially
For sure.
against some of the really defensive decks. Like the person I play test with a lot has been jamming Todoroki on water, which is like trying to break down the biggest wall ever.
Yeah. I feel that. Okay, so now let's talk about some foundations. So some of the foundations that I really enjoy playing, first and foremost, is we're not playing any Destined for Mainstream Success.
Yeah, I didn't put any of those in there.
This card is correct. This card is
Why?
either enhance, flip, draw an attack card, or enhance, flip, know that I'm going to check a 5. You just
Right.
name attack every time and then reveal the top card of your deck. Oh, it's a 5 check? I'll put it back. Now I know I can't check a 1 on my double front beatdown. That's a thing that's not going to happen. I'll play double front. All right, I'll build my top 2 in. I know I'm going to play Texas Smash and I need a 5. I'll flip name attack. It's a 5. This is safe to play. I'm not going to commit any resources for it. This card is just such free information on both your attacking turn, or if you look at the top card of your deck and you go, if I check a 3 here, I'm going to fail this block. I'll Destined for Mainstream Success. I'll flip a name attack. It's an attack. I'll add it to my hand. The likelihood of now it being a attacker foundation is now significantly lower, right? It's probably going to be a foundation now because I just saw an attack. If I have a second one, I'll do it again. I'll name attack. Oh, it's a 5? I know that I've passed this block. I now get to do real math. You have a 5-speed move. I've got a 3 block. I've got a 5 on top of my deck. I've got 4 resources. I'm good. I'm Gucci. I'm fine. Right?
Yeah, for sure. I played Destined. I think it was in Dinky. That was my favorite deck in the last format.
Yeah.
And so good.
Yeah,
I
this
don't know why
card's
I didn't
great.
put it in here. I think I just forgot about it.
Hey, that is all good. I think this is a 4 of for sure. 4 of easy. We got 75 cards. All right, we do have to cut that down. 24 attacks. I think we're going to shoot for 70. So we got to get 5 of these bad boys out of here. The other cards that I saw in here are Resistance. I don't know if we are going to find room in this deck because of all those cool set 2 cards, but I know in my success with Midoriya 1, this card put in a lot of work because, you know, we are discarding cards out of our hand in order to swing hard, which means we have less cards to block with. We are breaking our fingers in order to punch harder. And so this card is an on-board way to essentially block a move. If I find 2 of these, I commit, I block 1 move.
Right. Yeah, that's definitely good because I do have a lot of problems. I'm like, I often only do Midoriya's Enhance maybe once or twice if I have the any means necessary,
Right.
because that card's like nuts.
Mm-hmm.
And so I kind of do need help with not immediately just croaking on the next turn because I have 2 cards in my hand and my opponent attacks me 6 times.
The other thing is this card, is your friend playing Todoroki 1 or Todoroki 2?
2. Oh, 2, yes. for
After
sure.
your rival plays a stun ability, cancel it. It says once per game, your character doesn't work. I think at a 2 or a 3 of this card's totally fine, and we'll figure it out.
Absolutely.
Good impressions just means I get to string out combos harder. Enhance flip, your next punch gets -1 difficulty. This combined with things like Destined for Mainstream Success feels really good. Combined with things like pull no punches to keep my card pool nice and clean. I can just like actually take 5 attacks and just play them all. I don't know if Midoriya 2 needs this card, but I know that Midoriya 1 needed this card out of the 2 of. I have not played with Midoriya 2 a whole heck of a lot, but I just know how that character works.
Right. Honestly, I haven't had a whole lot of issues like stringing
Mm-hmm.
because I often build like up to deadlock by turn 3 or 2
Okay.
if I really get the right cards.
Fair. And the last big card that I want to talk about is Celebrity Status. So I think this card is very slept on in Midoriya strictly because of any means necessary. Discard a card, draw the card. So you have a move that hit. You've got a reverse throw that you threw on Prime, right? You got a back alley haymaker that they couldn't quite block. It's just sitting in your momentum, not doing anything, right? We don't have any way to do it. I play the reverse throw. I use celebrity status to stack the card on top of my deck. I discard any means necessary with Midoriya. I drew an attack. I know I drew an attack. I then get to continue to play my aggressive lines.
Yeah, the only thing that I feel about like momentum and like the reason I didn't throw in celebrity status is mostly because I have things like Tetsu's fist that has powerful on it, and I feel like that one's like super sneaky because it's like, okay, this one's gonna be an 8 for 5, dude. If you did the thing, it's what is that? A 7 for 8 or something like that. It's really
Yeah.
juicy.
Yeah.
And then you get the sneak +3 or +6, which I like that. Because that's just like that move can really just finish out a game really easily.
For sure.
So I like to hold on momentum, and plus the other one is setup strike is the one I like to hold momentum for. So I feel like celebrity status kind of takes away from that because
Fair.
I really only hit like 1 or 2 moves at the most before my opponent's dead because Midoriya hit hard.
He certainly does. He certainly does. Okay, that's totally fine. I mean, that helps me out because like it's a 1-5-2 mid block that like I have to find room for, right? So like Manly Friendship would have to leave, or Battle Resolve would have to leave. So there's interesting ways. Okay, so now we have to start making cuts, right? So we refresh and we're at 78 cards, and our goal is to get like close to 70, like 60, 68, 69, 70. And so now we have to just start talking about main board options. First and foremost, capture evildoers at a 3 of. Hit me with this card. How you feel about it?
So when I see it, it's great, but honestly, it's been kind of like a letdown half the time because when I need it, I don't see it, or it's like the thing I discard because I don't have enough attacks.
I think anybody with a brain realizes you're playing a good symbol deck. They're just not going to keep the momentum against you. I think it's a 2 of to threaten that it exists, but I don't think that you get to play it at a 3 or 4 of anymore. I think that this card is actually so good. It's only a deterrent. It's not an actual skill. Unless you're fighting against somebody like an air deck that like snaps momentum and you can just like keep it off of them. You put the 3rd, you put the 4th in the sideboard and bring them in whenever they're like, yo, I don't actually care that you're allowed to steal my momentum. That's fine. But like the average player is just gonna be I played against an All Might 3 in a webcam event. I was playing as Sero, right? And I knew this person was playing 4 capture evildoers, and so I had the choice. I could either I hit them literally 3 times on one of my turns, and I looked at all of them, and I had a tape swing in my hand. I had one holding it, and I went, it is not worth the 6 damage that this could represent if he steals even one of this. So I put them all in my discard pile. And then what did he do? He reviewed a capture evildoers.
Yeah.
And so
definitely.
it is anybody with a brain is just gonna be like, I'm not allowed to let you have capture evildoers and let that card be live. I'm just not. Giving back alley haymaker +2 speed, giving Tetsu Fist powerful 3, giving heroic strike +3 speed. It's just not worth it. I'm not allowed to do that. And so, there it is. It's already bad enough that you're playing pull no punches, and I can't deal with that card.
Right.
Going out fight some
Evildoers too against Moneta too. It beats that god of amongst men down.
Correct. Yeah, one of my big sideboards when I'm playing as Todoroki too. Is capture evildoers. How do you feel about going out to fight some villains? What's going on with this card?
It was good once, and every other time I discard it because I hate the block. I mean, it's like when you see it against that evil deck or any of the bad decks, it's like yes, but every other time I hate it. So I'm completely down with getting rid of it.
I'm gonna click the 0 button. This card is not good.
Go for it.
Maybe set 4, set 5. That card might see some play. It is not a set 2 card. It is not
definitely
relevant.
Not. I think I've used it once. I used it once and it did like a thing, and that was it.
Looks like we have about 1 million mid blocks, and so I think that's where we get to mess around with the numbers. Manly Friendship, how you feel about it?
I like this card a lot because it's just that little bit extra on the attack that's gonna hit, or the reverse throw that's like, okay, come on, you know I'm about to pump this up, so I don't commit this foundation, and I'm just pumping damage, and then at the same time, I'm not committing this, so on your turn, if you're about to kill me, -1, -2, maybe 3 damage,
Yeah.
depending on how many I have on board. It's like the kind of like the same thing as resistance. Yeah,
That's exactly what I was
resistance.
gonna say. Yep. Is I think that this card is just gonna take our resistance slot, which means we just get to cut this again.
Okay,
Maybe
yeah.
we take, and if you felt like really good, you could take in main board 2 manly friendship and 1 resistance to like kind of cover your bases on the stun thing. But we already have it can't be fixed as stun hate or more like stun deterrent, and so there's that, as well as like high value target counts as 2 foundations. So like you're allowed to stun one, but still keep the second one up, keep it up, you know.
Right.
Yeah.
I definitely love manly friendship. That's probably been one of the best.
Yeah, it's still mid blocks. It's still mid blocks. I love
Yeah, it's
Chiaki
just good.
Fanatic.
Has so many mids.
How you feel about Battle Resolve?
I thought this card, the moment you get the second one on board, you can turn an attack that you know is about to get blocked into an attack that's like, all right, I'm killing you now, so deal with it.
Okay. So
I like it, but I if it's cut down to a 2, that wouldn't be the worst thing in the world.
especially because we're playing 4x Haymaker to build it in, and Midoriya to
Absolutely.
build it in. Yeah, I don't hate that option, but I think this is the first card to put back in the deck when this doesn't work, right? Like this is a big experiment. I'm just trying to find this 28 number, or even like 70, right? Like I think 70 with 24 attacks is a fine number, and so like cutting this down, maybe even like the answer might be like a 3 of. I don't know.
3 works. I mean, I put in 4 of that and 4 of any means necessary because those seem like the correct cards. I don't think you could take out any means necessary.
Yeah.
Under any circumstance, it's your card. You draw it, you get a better one.
Right. 100%. Like the other option is like we take passing and put it down to a 2 of, but that feels bad because of discarding cards. We could take manly friendship and put it down to a 2 of, but like we enjoy that card. Destin could be a 2 or 3 of. Maybe that's the right call. We put 3 here,
Right.
and now we're down to 71.
You could go down to 3 for Battle Resolve. Like I said, that one's not the best card ever all the time, and it's
Yeah.
like once you have one, all you need is the other, and then there's 2 more, right?
How often have you found all 4 on board?
Not often.
Okay.
I mean, I have so I'll see the third one and I'll consider doing the Midoriya, but I mean, at that point, I'm probably just gonna gain the health off of one of them,
Right.
and that one kind of feels bad. That response,
Right.
because it commits itself.
Commit flip.
Or
Gain 1.
I don't know.
Yuck.
I'm not huge on like trying to get 4 as long as I can get 2 live.
Okay. Then I think that might just be it, man. We're at 70, which is like a good number for a deck that's playing 24 attacks. So let's talk about some of the other cards that I just didn't add into the deck. Obviously, we've got things like aiming for number 1, go for the win, lets you swing a little harder. Copy evade is the sets plus ultra. This card I think needs to be in your sideboard, or else All Might 1 is gonna just beat you with Detroit Smash.
Right.
And we talked about pretty much everything else. I guess Hardened if you're missing out on high blocks, but you're playing new training method, you're playing double pull no punches, you're playing 4x Bonds of Friendship. And so it looks like you're not missing out on the Hardens. Right?
Yeah. I mean, if of the like actions, I think go for the win was an interesting one because it's also low blocks and it's speed.
Yeah. Correct.
And speed in Midoriya is like gold to me. Because it's like, it just takes that one attack that does like 15 damage, and that's that.
Especially with how like uninteractable this speed is. Like it's +2 speed at the very end, right? They pass on their enhance, I respond with go for the win, then I pass on my enhance, we're just going to blocks. You don't get it. This is 2 speed out of nowhere as a trick. And so like I think this card feels really, really good. And not to bring it back to a deck that I'm playing, but like it's one of the key things in Todoroki 2 for pushing that damage through, which you're swinging just as hard. Just kidding, you're swinging harder than I am in that deck. So there's that.
Right. I don't think I'll try to find a room for Go for the Win. At least like maybe 1 or 2.
You want to try and find a room for it right now?
Sure. I like that one.
Um,
I mean, I'm not sure what would come out. Like maybe Taiyaki, because it's that one of, but I often don't see it, and I don't think the deadlock's worth. I'd rather have the response.
Yeah.
And Taiyaki's like it's here, but sometimes it isn't.
We could also take out one self-sacrifice and put this at a 3 of, and then put the Go for the Win at the 1 of. And just see how it
Fair
feels.
enough. Yeah. The only reason I love self-sacrifice in this deck is because depending on who I'm playing against, like if I see Todoroki, 9 times out of 10 I don't fear deadlock like I should,
Right.
because his deadlock doesn't feel as bad. But if I see somebody like Stain, or Stain character playing Stain, or Stain like character playing Stain cards,
Right.
I fear deadlock more than anything. Or a punch character with pull no punches.
Right. Yeah.
Those characters put the fear of death in me.
Fair. But I think with 3 you'll find it enough, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I think so. I think most of my 3-ofs I'll see once.
And then, like,
Early
you have
enough.
one out, you check one, you just Midoriya it in. Be like, oh, hey, I got 2. Hey,
All you ever need
sick.
to see is the first.
Is there anything in this deck that you vehemently disagree with, that you just absolutely can't stand that I put in?
That you put in? No, I mean, the one check will be in the back of my head for always, but that's just, I think that's anyone who plays a one check.
Right.
But I mean, everything else, the hard and jab is like a big one. The only thing I just don't really know how to fix is like the low attacks. I think I have still just the chops. I didn't know if that's like good or just a bad thing to have.
So there's 2 thoughts on it. There's zone mix-ups, where you're playing all zones, so your opponent doesn't know what to block or hold for blocks. And there's zone overload, which will punish your opponent for drawing all of the wrong zone, right? I'm playing all highs in your case, and if I draw 4 low blocks, they're dead. They just don't do anything. Right? Like, triple Texas kills anybody who drew 4 low blocks. What do?
Just die.
You just die.
Yeah.
And so, like, there's the school of thought. I don't think this is a bad attack lineup, and the punches are not going low. The only one that does go low is Chop, which we're down to have blocked, right? Block and discard another one. I'm in. Now, like, I don't even have to use Midoriya's ability on Chop, because it's already hitting for 5. And if they block it, they go. Or maybe I do use Midoriya's ability, depending on the spot in the game that we're at, in order to say, yo, you have to block this one. And now every other one is going to be swinging for 100.
Okay. And then there was one other card, I don't think you put it in, but I've been looking at it. It's one of Gran Torino's. It's like the first enhanced card.
First impressions?
Yeah, I think it's first impressions. Like, is that one supposed to feel really good in Midoriya too?
No, I hate that card. I think that card sucks.
Okay.
I think that card's only playable in throw decks.
Yeah, that's certainly something to fear.
Yeah, it's just like it takes up the first enhance on your first attack. If it was just first enhance, I think that I'd be like so in, but it says first enhance on the first attack. So like, man, it's such a tight window of like when I'm allowed to play it. There's going to be some times where I want to do something else, and then it's just a blank card on my board. And 90% of the card, 90% of the time, it's just a blank card on my board. I think the card is not great. Except when you toss it onto a throw, right? Like, you toss it on 0 gravity lift, and you're like, hey, yo, this is 9 damage, and you have to respect it. What about it?
Right. Okay. All right. I can definitely get down for that.
Yeah. All right, buddy. Well, I appreciate you taking the time with me to work on this awesome deck. Let me shoot you this deck list, and you have a good rest of your day. Okay.
You too. And thanks for the help.
You're very welcome, man. We'll see ya.
See ya.